welcome to my channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I hugged my child goodnight, tucking him into bed. It was one of those nights where everything felt quiet. Too quiet, you know? Anyway, I made sure the blanket covered his shoulders, just like he liked it. I kissed him on the forehead, and he mumbled, "Good night, Dad." I smiled, feeling pretty proud of myself. Parenting wasn't easy, but hey, I was doing all right. After closing the door to his room, I sighed, thinking about how peaceful everything felt. Then I turned around, and there he was, my kid, standing right in the hallway. I blinked, trying to make sense of it. My brain wasn't working right. "Wait, what?" I stammered. "Didn't I just tuck you into bed?" He tilted his head, looking confused, then asked, "Who are you talking to?" I froze. "What do you mean?" I said, my voice sounding shakier than I wanted it to. He pointed toward his room, not looking at me. "You were talking to someone in my room. Now let me tell you, I don't scare easy. I've been through some stuff, but something about this situation gave me goosebumps." The hair on the back of my neck stood up. "Stay here," I told him, trying to sound brave. I wasn't sure if I was more scared of what might be in the room or of freaking my kid out. I opened the door, slowly expecting, a burglar, a stray animal. I didn't know what I was looking for, but the room was empty. The bed was just as I left it, blanket still tucked in, the little nightlight glowing in the corner. I walked in, checking the closet, under the bed, even behind the curtains. Nothing. I came back out, trying to act like everything was fine. "See? No one's there." "You probably just heard me singing." My kid shook his head. "No, you really were talking. Let's get you back to bed," I said, brushing it off. "It's late for you." He didn't argue. I tucked him back in and stayed in the room a little longer this time, humming a song I used to sing to him when he were little. After he fell asleep, I went back to my room, but I couldn't sleep. My mind kept going over everything. And that's when I started to hear things. At first it was faint, like whispers coming from down the hallway. I tried to tell myself it was the wind or the house making noises, but it didn't stop. The sound was soft, like someone murmuring just out of earshot, too quiet to make out the words. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. It was 2:47 a.m. Great. I sat up, listening carefully, and the sound seemed to be coming from my kid's room. My first thought was he was having a nightmare or talking in his sleep. That had to be it, right? I got up and walked toward his door. As I got closer, the whispers stopped, just like that. Dead silence. I stood there for a second, my hand hovering over the doorknob. Finally, I opened the door, slow and quiet. The room was empty. My kid was still there, sleeping peacefully, but the feeling in the room, it was different, and that's when I saw it. At the foot of the bed, there was something. It wasn't a person exactly, but it wasn't just a shadow either. It was like a shape, darker than the rest of the room, just standing there, watching. I froze. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. My first instinct was to turn on the light, but my hand wouldn't move. I just stood there, staring at it, and it stared back. I don't know how long we stayed like that. It felt like forever. Then it moved. It slid across the room and out the door, fast, disappearing into the hallway. The second it was gone, I snapped out of it and rushed to my kid's bed. He was still sleeping, completely unaware of what had just happened. I stayed there for the rest of the night, sitting in the chair next to their bed, watching the door. The whispers didn't come back, but I kept having the feeling that something was still in the house. The next morning I called my mom. She's old school Hmong, you know? She believes in all the traditional stuff, spirits, ghosts, all of it. I told her what happened. She listened quietly, then said, "Did you bring something new into the house recently?" I thought about it. There was the old dresser I'd picked up from a thrift store last week. It was a solid piece, real wood, and I got it for a steal. I told her about it, and she clicked her tongue like she already knew what I was going to say. "You need to get rid of it," she said, right away. "Why?" I asked, trying not to laugh. "It's just a dresser." "It's not just a dresser. she said, her voice sharp. "You don't know where it came from or who owned it. Things like that can carry spirits, bad ones." I wanted to argue, but the memory of that shadow was still fresh in my mind. I decided to listen to her. That afternoon, I hauled the dresser out of the house and left it on the dumpster near our house. I didn't care if someone else took it. Better them than me. That night, everything felt normal again. No whispers, no shadows, just peace and quiet. I thought maybe it was over, that getting rid of the dresser had solved the problem. But then, around midnight, my kid came into my room. He looked pale, his eyes wide with fear. "What's wrong?" I asked, sitting up. "They won't go away," he whispered. "Who? The people in my room?" My stomach dropped. I grabbed a flashlight and followed him back to their room. I didn't see anything at first, but the second I stepped inside, the air felt cold. Freezing, actually. I could see my breath in the light of the flashlight. That's when I heard it again. The whispers. This time they were louder, clearer, like a group of people all talking at once. It was coming from the closet. I hesitated, but my kid was right behind me, clutching my shirt. I had to do something. I opened the closet door, expecting I don't even know what, but it was empty. No clothes, no toys, nothing, just an empty space. Then I heard the voice, clear as day, a woman's voice, speaking in Hmong, "Help us." I slammed the door shut and grabbed my kid. We spent the night at my mom's house. Staying at my mom's house should have felt safe, But after everything that happened, I couldn't really relax. My kid fell asleep pretty quickly, which was a relief. I, on the other hand, kept tossing and turning. Eventually, I must have drifted off because I started dreaming. At first it was nice, like really nice. In the dream, I was walking through this beautiful place. It's hard to describe, but it was so peaceful, like something out of a painting. There were trees everywhere, tall and green, with golden light shining through the leaves. The air smelled sweet, like flowers, and there was this soft, distant music playing. It felt like the kind of place you'd never want to leave. Then, just as I was about to step into an open field with the most vibrant flowers I've ever seen, I felt someone grab my arm. Hard. It startled me so bad I almost fell over. I turned around and everything went dark. The trees, the light, the music, gone. Instead, I was just standing there in the middle of nowhere with this cold wind blowing around me. And then I woke up. Except I wasn't in bed, I was outside. My mom was standing there holding my arm. She looked more scared than I've ever seen her. "You were sleepwalking," she said, her voice shaking. "Do you know where you were going?" I just stared at her, trying to make sense of it. My head felt foggy, like I wasn't fully awake yet. "No," I mumbled. I don't remember." She shook her head, her grip tightening on my arm. "You were heading toward the road. If I didn't wake up, who knows what would have happened." That hit me like a punch to the gut. I looked back toward the house and realized how far I'd gone. The thought of my kid waking up and finding me missing, I don't even want to think about it. We went back inside and my mom made me drink some tea. She didn't say much after that, just kept looking at me like she was waiting for me to explain something. I didn't know what to say. How could I? I didn't even understand it myself. That dream, it felt so real. I can still see that field, the flowers, the light. It was beautiful, yeah, but now it scares me. It didn't feel like a normal dream. It felt like something was trying to take me somewhere I wasn't supposed to go. The next morning, my mom burned incense and did some prayers in the backyard. She told me to sit quietly and not say a word. Afterwards, she sat down next to me and said, "You have to be careful. When you dream, sometimes spirits will come to guide you. Not all of them mean you well. If you follow them, you might not come back." I nodded, but inside I was still shaken. Was that what happened? Was something or someone trying to lure me away in my sleep? And what would have happened if my mom hadn't woken up? My mom then called a shaman. The shaman, my mom and I, went to my house and did a cleansing ritual. Apparently, the spirit attached to the dresser had followed us, and it wasn't just one spirit, it was many. Lost souls stuck between worlds looking for someone to help them cross over. The shaman said they were gone now, that he had helped them moved on. It was such a relief to go to sleep peacefully again. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll see you in the next one.